At the bustling airport terminal, the air was thick, with the chatter of travelers and the rolling hum of suitcase wheels. In the middle of it all, a sharply dressed woman stood quietly, exuding an aura of calm authority. Her name was Ava Morgan, a name that echoed in the world of business, though few recognized her outside the boardroom. She was the CEO of a multinational tech empire, a woman whose decisions shifted markets. Today, however, she was not here for a meeting. She was here to catch a flight. Ava approached the first-class counter, ticket in hand, when the airline staff member barely glanced up before pointing toward a long, crowded line in the economy. "Section, ma'am, the economy check-in is over there," he said briskly, his tone dismissive. Ava blinked slowly, processing the assumption. She looked down at her ticket, the bold first class clearly printed, back at the staff member, whose eyes seemed to skip over her entirely. She could feel the stares of a few nearby passengers, some smirking, some indifferent. She didn't argue. She didn't protest. Years of leading billion-dollar negotiations had taught Ava that silence often spoke louder than shouting. Instead, she stepped aside without a word. The staff member smirked slightly, already moving on to the next passenger, assuming he had been right. But while her expression remained calm, her mind was anything but. She knew prejudice when she saw it, and she also knew the power she held. Pulling out her sleek black phone, Ava typed a brief message. No one around her noticed the quiet efficiency in her movements. Within seconds, the airline's corporate headquarters received a direct communication from someone whose influence extended far beyond one flight. Moments later, another staff member approached in a hurried, almost panicked stride. She whispered urgently to the man at the counter, his face shifting from smug confidence to pale shock. He glanced toward Ava, now realizing the gravity of his mistake. But Ava didn't move toward him. Instead, she lifted her hand and made a single gesture, a subtle slice across her palm, signaling the end of something. The staff member's headset crackled with incoming orders, his voice stammering as he confirmed them. "Ladies and gentlemen, we regret to inform you that this flight has been canceled due to unforeseen circumstances," the overhead speakers announced moments later. Gasps and groans filled the air. Passengers began looking around, trying to understand what had happened. The man at the counter kept darting nervous glances at Ava, as if waiting for her to confront him. She didn't. Ava simply turned, heels clicking against the polished floor, and walked toward the private lounge reserved for VIP clients. Inside, a senior airline executive was already waiting, visibly flustered. He bowed his head respectfully and began apologizing profusely. "Ms. Morgan, we are deeply sorry. We had no idea that's the problem," Ava interrupted softly, her voice steady but edged with steel. "You didn't care to know? Saw me and assumed where I belonged? This isn't about me. It's about how many others you've treated the same way?" The executive nodded nervously, promising immediate changes, promising retraining, promising that such an incident would never happen again. Ava listened but made no promises of her own. She didn't need to. The flight was canceled, the staff reprimanded, and the lesson delivered, all without her ever raising her voice. Hours later, as she boarded a private jet arranged by her own company, Ava glanced out the window at the same terminal where the incident had happened. She knew that the man who had dismissed her would remember this day for the rest of his career. And more importantly, so would the company. In Ava Morgan's world, respect wasn't requested, it was commanded. And sometimes the most powerful statements were made with silence.